Hi, my name is Mariah Burley. Welcome to my channel. My channel is going to be about tips when working with special needs kids as well as some volunteer experience I have, and I want to talk about a little bit about being a child who has learning disability. First of all, I want you guys to know that I'm not an expert in this field. I can only talk about what I've learned. I'm still learning. And I want you guys to know that any questions or comments you have, you can leave below. First off, I want to talk about some tips that I've learned and something that may help you guys. Some tips I've learned are like, one thing I know is that what works for one child, one special needs child, may not work for another. Another one would be to make sure that you get all the testing that is maybe necessary for a child, because you want to be able to help your child the best way possible. So if your child may have like some kind of learning disability, you might have to try to find some kind of person that will test them to see what the disability is, so you can so you can find some tips or some strategies that may help them stay calm or get them re-engaged with any activity they're doing. One thing I know that's worked for me when I had been volunteering, sometimes you can get maybe sometimes they will like a toy or some kind of stimulant that they are interested in. You may want to use that and try to gauge that, like use that to cope, allow them to get back into the activity. Like for example, they have a favorite truck. You bring it over to the table where you're sitting with their work, and they may come over there because they want to play with the truck, but you have their work over there, and it helps them like kind of re-engage them. There's a couple things I want everybody, parent or child, to know. I want you to know that for parents, I want you to know that you should support your child in all aspects, regardless if it's a behavioral problem or it's a disability, because you never know what your child's going through. For children, I want you to know to be yourself, that what you have or what limits you does not define who you are as a person. I want you to know that regardless of what people say about you, that is not who you are. I want you to know never to be scared. For children, I want you to know never to be scared. Oh, parents and children. I want you to know that never to be scared to ask for help. It doesn't matter what it's about. If you need help, for parents, you need help finding out what programs are best for your kids, you go and ask. Because there are people out there that know this kind of information. For kids, if you need help with like homework or tutoring or anything that may be necessary, do not be ashamed, because I know what it's like to feel like you were, because I've been ashamed at times where I didn't want to ask for help, because I always used to think that asking for help means you're weak or you're unable to do it. It just means, all asking for help means that you understand you have a problem that you may not be able to fix on your own. That's what help means. And now a little bit about my story, about me as a person that has a learning disability. When I was a child, I realized that I had trouble reading. So my mom and my parents, so they got me hooked on phonics when I was about 5 maybe, and I used to read through the stories, and since my learning disability doesn't reading comprehension, I may not always got, and pronunciation, I may not always pronounce things right, but as I grew, I was never on grade level, and it kind of frustrated me because I would always have to work a lot harder than everyone else, because things for me weren't straightforward or easy all the time. I would have to work like maybe 10 times as hard as other people, because just to get like passing grades, and things just weren't easy. But just because it wasn't easy doesn't mean I should give up. And one thing I never did was give up, even when it was hard. I know times back in my past, looking back on my past, where I did not like asking for help, but I'm grateful I had the help. Like I had it when I was about maybe in 6th grade. I had a tutor that would help me with my reading and my writing. Those are two of my weak points, and it's improved, but it's still not probably where it needs to be. but all I can do is keep working on it. Just like this, public speaking is not easy for me because it has to do with I gotta actually think, be conscious of what I'm saying. So I just want you to know this channel may not be perfect, but I'm gonna do the best I can to get every information that I've learned out to you guys. I don't know who's gonna benefit, but even if one person impacted by what I say, I am grateful for that alone. So from 5 to about, let's be honest, 5 to 27, which I am now, I've always had difficulties with school. First off was reading when in 5th grade, in 4th and 5th grade, we got, there was me and a group of kids that got taken out of reading classes. Well, first what happened was that everyone was we lined up, we got out of our classrooms and lined up in the hallway. And the people that needed to be called out for specialized reading because we needed extra help were pulled into that, which made me feel ashamed. But looking back on it, it was nothing for me to be ashamed about. All they were doing was trying to help me get my reading to where it needed to be and help me pronounce words the way I need to, as well as try to get my basically just try to get me back on level, get me back on reading level and grade level, which I understand now. But back then I was ashamed because I felt like I was being singled out, and that I was less than the other people because why are we being taken out and everyone else is staying? But that doesn't mean anything. That just means I needed help, and I'm grateful they saw I needed help. In 8th, in college is the next experience. No, before college I had experience with special needs. That was the first, I think, time I ever worked with special needs kids. It was working at one of the churches I worked at. I worked with 2 different special needs kids, and I realized that God just ordained it from the beginning that He wanted me to work with special needs. And it's really cool how I didn't know this in my childhood. There was no way of knowing that He was going to put me back in an area that impacted me so intensely to help other children that are going through similar things or gone through things I've never gone through. To show me that there is a need in this area that He put me in. Basically, I just know that God doesn't want them. I know that they are not going to be overlooked. I don't want them to be overlooked. I just have the heart that is for kids that I feel like are overseen, like they're not seen or they are looked past, and I don't ever want a child to feel like they are less than because they have some kind of limitation, that they are not important, and they are just as important as anyone else, because God made them just like all of everyone else. It's so important for kids to know that they are not alone, that they are enough because God made them, and He knows every single need that they have. Just we may not know them all, but we're not Him. And I'm grateful that I had God and my family behind me to not be able to be able to graduate from college, because after my first semester of college, I got an academic probation because I didn't have I did not have my I did not do my testing for special needs. For my disability yet. So that was based on acting as if I was a normal student. I didn't have my testing yet, so I couldn't get the requirements that for example, I couldn't get extra time on my test, or I couldn't get any extra time on anything. So it made me have to crunch really fast, and if I didn't finish anything, you would still get graded for it. But with my having one thing that is very important, and I would say is vital for anyone that has special needs, is that they meet with the teachers, so they can implement a IEP, which is I think it's an independent. I think it's an individual. It's like basically it's like how they learn. Like, for example, if they need double time on their test. If they need certain things to help them study, if you need their instructions read to them, if they need, all their needs are met, to make sure that it's being implemented And if there's a need that has not been met, you may want to go and have a meeting with the teacher to say, I see my child is having a problem in this area. Can you help in this way? And you and the teacher can come up with a plan what you have for your child. I think that's very important and very vital. So they know that the child is getting all the help that it needs, he or she needs. I think it's important that we treat these kids just like a regular person, that they are not coddled and that they are not looked down on, or they are not told that they need to grow up because they act a certain way. My heart is just completely invested in kids that have special needs. It's just completely there. I may have not got my degree in special ed, but I know that I'm supposed to eventually have my own business working with special needs kids, so it's going to be very interesting. I got my bachelor's degree in business management, so we'll see what happens with that. And I'm really excited to see what God does with my life and with each of these kids' life that I may impact, with parents, whoever I may impact. I'm just grateful to see. I'm grateful to have you along the journey with me, as well as grateful to be along the journey with you.